Why are men not really genuinely interested in women? Because they don't really understand what the woman's for. They don't really get it. For them, it's an object of arousal, and it's a status symbol, like a car. And most men's mind are obsessed with name, fame, and glory, and in other words, validation. They're so self-obsessed. I don't want to use the word narcissist because everyone can understand it differently, but they're so self-obsessed that they don't care about what a woman is and what she's for. Now, you'll have these soft fuckers who are going to pretend that they do. You know, those little fuckers who write poetry, such as myself. And they're in love with the idea of love. They're in love with the idea of being romantic. They're in love with the idea of, yes, the woman, and she's a special person. But I'm talking about on average. If women don't know what the fuck they do, men are going to know. Men don't know. They have no idea. They don't know what it is to be a man in the first place. They have ideas, of course, which has been promoted by TV, culture, and history, historical narratives and whatnot, and they don't know. And nobody's teaching them. And they're all stressed, pent up, and they're conditioned. Never forget this. They're conditioned since they're little kids to objectify themselves and to objectify women. And they just want to come. C-U-M. Yeah. 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 Nothing. It's fair to say. And they also want mommy. So it's the two sides of it. So they want to come, then they want to come in mommy. That's right. You want to come in mommy, you stupid fuck. Yeah. So secretly men are... how do you speak about such a thing without being like... If I speak honestly, it's a sad subject. So I got to kind of like take a tone and be a little like comical or mocking. There's nothing comical about it. This is a very sad thing. But anyways, yeah. So your average guy is totally lost, has no sense of who he is. I've said this 1,000 times. You'll almost know my sentences. They have no sense of who they are, where they are, what they're doing, what's the purpose of their life, what's the purpose of life. They have no idea what it is to be a man. They don't understand women at all, besides the fact that it's a come object. They have no understanding of what's the purpose of the relationship between the man and the woman, and therefore they live at the surface of existence as it has been presented to them by the zookeepers and religions of the zoo. They don't know. It's not that they don't have access to that knowledge. They do. Everybody does. But they don't know. And they're conditioned. Just look, I will never forget this. When I was studying in osteopathy, I was dating a girl at the time. She had a fantastic ass. And anyways, it's not the point. And she was young. And she had this little yellow dress. She was a little flirtatious little thing. And she's not the point of the story. And there was a couple who were a little older. And one guy was a Romanian dude and the other one was a Canadian girl. And then he saw this girl I was dating. She was in class. We were all in class together with her little yellow dress. And then he went to tell his girlfriend, Stephanie, I'd like you to wear a yellow dress. Not at school, at home, before he bangs her. So Stephanie told my girlfriend, then she told me. And I said, isn't that fucking weird? This fucking dude wants his girlfriend, who looked nothing like my girlfriend, he wants her to wear a yellow dress so he can fuck you through her. So the point of what I'm trying to say is that these are fetishes, and this is mind associations, and all of us, that's men and women, have been in ways hacked. Our minds have been hacked. And when you hack with the mind of somebody, you hack the nervous system by default. And you hack the way the nervous system responds to stimulations, to visuals and whatnot. And then you can make the body do whatever you want from that point on. So society has been doing this for God knows how long. It was older technologies, and now it's become very obvious with the TVs and the screens and the pictures to hack into the minds of men. So all they know is that they're pent up. They don't really know why. They don't totally understand what's happening to themselves, to them. They don't know they're in a zoo. If they do, they only know at the surface of it. They don't realize how deep the rabbit hole of their conditioning goes. But most don't have no idea. Maybe they'll watch a movie, The Matrix. It resonates a certain kind of truth, but they don't know. And something in them is just like stuck. And they look at a woman and they see an outlet. She arouses me, and if I can touch her and play with her, I can get a fix. More importantly than that, other men will value me if I can get one of those pretty girls. Like a car. I'll push it one step further, and this is something I feel, it annoys me. Your average guy will not speak these truths because your average guy is a sucker. He's a loser, he's soft. Men who have a little more experience with women, who are more comfortable with themselves, who are quote unquote more alpha, will say, look, this is the girl, this is the manipulation she did, look at this, look at that, what she's doing. You know, they kind of like analyze her behavior. But they're always analyzing her behavior from a man's point of view. It's not even a man's point of view, it's that guy's point of view, which is very quote unquote masculine or cerebral. And it really annoys me. Because your average guy thinks women is stupid and feeble. And it's not that they're wrong. Now, of course, women are trying to like show that they're Captain Marvel, they can conquer the world. But no man in his right brain, I'm not talking about your soft loser who wants to pretend that he buys into this feminist bullshit. I'm talking about your average guy who's really honest. That's why there's mansplaining. Let me explain shit to you and then shut the fuck up. Okay, we don't have time for this nonsense. That's the essence of mansplaining. Shut the fuck up, let me explain it to you, then learn. So of course you cannot say such things today, but I do, and some men are intelligent enough to understand this. So they don't care for a woman's intelligence. So besides, if she's not as intelligent as a man, and if she's obviously not as strong as a man, then what's left? Ass, tits, and prettiness. And this is the essence of the so-called, when we speak about feminism, we cannot really speak about feminism without looking into it a little more profoundly and understanding its political implications, how it was financed, and all of this. But if we stay at the surface, the illusionary movement of feminism is women saying, listen, we've had enough of being dolls. I think we can simplify it. It would be fair to say that. We are sick and tired of being dolls. We are more than dolls. And we can do also, well, they say we at least want to be treated equally as men. I'm not entering in such a debate. Maybe the next phase of feminism is like we're more than dolls. There's more to us than just tits, ass, and a baby factory. I'm not here to argue about this. But that's kind of the idea. There's more to us than dollness. And your average guy is like, whatever. They don't buy into it. Of course not. Because if I have the chance between a man and a woman to do the same job, the likelihood is that the man is going to be more capable. I'm sorry to say. Because he's not so hormonally affected, and et cetera, right? I don't want to even get into this conversation. Men know this. Everybody knows this. Women know this. But women don't know their own value. They have no idea. Of course, men who are dumber have no idea either. So they evaluate the woman according to this. Well, you're clearly not as intelligent as an intelligent man. If we take the most intelligent man and the most intelligent woman, I'm not sure who's going to win, right? If I take the strongest man and the strongest woman, I'm not sure who's going to win, right? This is a tough one. So they're like, okay, so all there's left to her is that she's pretty, she got a nice ass, she better have a fucking nice ass, she's got nice tits, she better have nice tits, and she's youthful and looks good, so I get now status. when I'm with her. So she's my cum object, and she gives me status like a nice car, a Ferrari, or whatever, which is status in the eyes of who? The other men. Oh, this is a Superman because he's got the pretty girl. Pretty girl gets solicited by 1,000 men, everyone, and she's selected this guy, so clearly he must be superior to all the other ones. That's how your average guy thinks of women. Of course, there can be a soft liar who's going to say, no, me, I love the essence of women. Okay, most are liars, and maybe some of them are honest. Okay, a little bit. But your average guy doesn't give a fuck. It's a toy. It's a doll. And there's nothing, I'm not saying this as shame on you, you're a bad guy, I think a woman is a doll. No. I understand exactly where you're coming from. But here's what annoys me, is that you actually fell for the con. That's why I'm annoyed. That's why I'm calling you out. That's why my other videos I call you out. I'm like, you got played. Because you're playing at the surface and you don't understand the game that she's playing because you have no sense of that kind of, what kind of creature she is. You think you do. Yeah, she wants to suck attention, and yes, yeah, but you don't understand how deep that rabbit hole goes. You do not even dare to open the door and go into that darkness. You can't even fathom how deep that darkness goes, man. Darkness not as evil, that means the underworld, how dark it is for you who cannot see in the night. So that's what irritates me about the men. I understand where you're coming from because you live at the surface. Women have superficialized themselves. Everything is at the surface. Now she's trying to pretend that she's like you. A man who can solve problems, who can run corporations, she's a man now, literally. A psychotic man who can be as cruel and heartless as men. First of all, real men are not like this. They're a byproduct of thousands of year conditioning. But just let's simplify. So she's trying to show you, I can do it like you. But what you don't understand, or maybe you do, but I'm sure you pretty much don't, is that this is not her power. This is not where she really operates. She's fooled you. And it annoys me. I'll tell you why. Because here you go analyzing her from the surface, and then you think you figured it all out, and you don't understand it, you just fell into her game. And that fucking annoys me, because first of all, you're lying to yourself, and then you actually for a second think that this creature is feeble and stupid, according to your standards of what you define strength and intelligence is. And this is like ridiculous. You cannot compare a man's intelligence and a woman's intelligence. And the fact is that your intelligence is not even able to decipher her intelligence, her real intelligence. Shows to which extent you're absolutely totally blind. So all this to wrap up and say, your average man doesn't give a fuck about women. He just wants to use her and come and use her as a status symbol or as a mommy replacement. And this is not a criticism towards men. It's just facts. Now, again, I'm going to say this for the third or fourth time. Of course, there's other men who are going to pretend that they're different. Maybe a few, but it's not the majority, far from that. Because she's an idiot, as far as he's concerned. She's a doll. She's just a source of problems. Noise, difficulties. It's not fluid. It's always emotional. She can be entertaining at best. For the guys who are losers who have nothing better to do, they go home. It's their pet. Right? You're a fucking loser who get your 9-to-5 job or something like this, the job that you can't stand. Right? You're like a dentist. You drill the 20th mouth of the day, then you go home, and then you have your wife who's there, and then you're gonna mansplain shit to her and try to organize her things because you're the man, right? Yeah, right. So it takes your energy and attention. You're not going to be honest enough to understand what I'm saying. Some of you will know what I'm saying. I'm being candid and honest. At least once upon a time, reproduction was important. Today, reproduction is so much on the low side. It's almost going to be a relic of the past. At least in the past, there was an understanding of reproduction so that men will recognize that the woman controls reproduction. But they don't really understand what that means. Right? You don't totally understand. What does that mean? Well, I fuck her, she's pregnant, I put a sperm, there's an ovum, and then 9 months later, pop, comes a baby, and that's pretty much the extent of that. There's not a deeper actual understanding, a metaphysical comprehension of what's the power that is birthing and by which process it is doing that. Not really. Now you fucking geeks study your sciences and your biology and you think you figured it all out with the hormones and you can have your little slips to measure hormone levels. Right, you little fucking geek, you think you figured it out, right? You're an idiot. You're a fucking moron. Stay at the surface of existence. This is where you belong. And in the meantime, I'm telling you something. I've said it before. You will not understand because you're a moron. But maybe you do. If you do, congratulations. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Don't forget to leave a comment. And tell us what you understand. I really want to know. I'm so eager to know what you think in the comment section below. I'm sorry, I just go off on tangents and come back and come back and come and go. The moral of the story is, your average man has no idea what the creative potential is. He doesn't understand his part of the game. He just thinks it's about a penis and sperm. And he has certainly no idea what the woman is and what she's capable of. And the man actually thinks he is the author of his own life. That's the paradox. Yet, and I say this all the time, go back to the Genesis, the book, and read that shit. This is the first book, it's the first couple of pages, and what does the book of God say? It says, Adam, you are a fucking moron. You couldn't even handle that bitch for a week. That's what it says. And that bitch rather go with a snake than hang out with you in paradise. Then she don't have to even try. She just looks at you and smiles and makes you do the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. She didn't even have to try. You went against God's will because she smiled at you. Now, this is the foundation of the human experience, which of course you don't understand because probably you haven't thought about it. It says so in the book. Now stop for 2 seconds. I know that you're the Superman of Supermans. We know this, but come to my level, at the level of the weak people, okay? This is what it says at the very start. This is a deep fucking story. You could spend your whole life and you would never get to the bottom of it. It's a super deep story. Don't stay at the surface like a fool. So let's say that something like this is happening. This is not literal, but almost is. It's not. We're talking about powers and the dance of energies. So that's what happened in the garden with your ass. So from that point on, as the God kicked your fucking ass and that bitch's ass out of the garden into the wilderness, what happens from that point on? Clearly, we know who's in charge. And our civilization is the byproduct of that event. Our entire world, now it's not, the story in the Bible is not telling you there was a guy called Adam and a bitch called Eve. No, that's not what it's saying. It's trying to explain something that you cannot understand unless you go a little deeper into the occult so that you start to perceive how powers operate. So what's it saying? It says, well, something happened. Clearly, she's the instigator of it. Both of y'all get kicked out of that garden, a state of perfection, so to speak. So that event is what activates the wheel of life, and everything that comes forth all the way to now, and Elon fucking Musk, is a byproduct of that original sin, not sin as it's evil, which is instigated by her, and you, like a bitch that you are, follow. So what does that say about you? But you don't understand that. And the very fact that you still don't understand that shows exactly what's happened. You still don't fucking understand. And now you think, so if we go back in time a couple of 100 years and they read the Bibles, the men are like, she's the devil. Let's control her. Let's shackle her because of her we go to hell. I'm like, yeah, that's what a stupid man does when he's afraid of something he doesn't understand. A stupid man tries to control. At least these guys had, well, I don't know if they knew. Well, they kind of had a sense, but that's because they were like super religious and strict. Now you are not religious for most part, so you think you're free from that fundamental truth, which you still don't understand. And now you don't even bother to control her because you don't fucking care, and you the man now because you can bang hoes on Tinder. I've never been on Tinder, so I don't really know which side you swipe, but I know you swipe, right? So, again, what I'm trying to say is that this is a very profound story. It's definitely worth your contemplation. And it reveals a lot about who we are, our state of affair. Today, men, on average, or at least in their unconscious mind to a certain degree, this is just a woman. She's never going to be as equal to you or as intelligent as you. Even if you pretend that she is, because otherwise you'll lose your job, you little bitch, right? You're going to get in trouble and your wife is going to make you sleep on the couch, right? So what I'm trying to say is that, no, she has a whole other level of knowledge and power that you most likely plus have no fucking idea about. You cannot fathom it. And the genesis of life, this is the first book in the Bible. Think about this. Some people think that the Bible is the Word of God. I'm not here to debate that, but think about it. Let us say it is the Word of God for the sake of conversation. It begins with that. We got how God made the whole world and whole thing. Then he brought that fool, and then he grabbed a rib from his thorax and made her, and then the shit happens. So this is the very onset of life on earth as we know it. It's not the birth of Adam that's the important moment. It's her, because it's from her that everything that happens. If she's not there, everybody's in the Garden of Eden. Ain't nothing happening in the Garden of Eden. There's no movement. It's perfect. It's in perfect stillness. The tiger doesn't eat the giraffe. The tiger doesn't eat the zebra. The tiger eats leaves. In other words, he don't need to do nothing. There's nothing happening. There's no action. There's no activity. And her action, her decisive choice, keyword choice, and you as an idiot who cannot resist, creates this whole wheel that brings us to today. And here you are now trying to pretend that she's nothing, and you compare your intelligence with hers. And now she, of course, is tricking you even more by now trying to pretend that she's a corporate woman, a business person, that she can do MMA. Yeah, she can do anything she wants. Any human being can change their biology and hormonal system with their mind and their desires and whatever they do. Yeah, sure. Well, that has nothing to do with, that's not a woman. That's a woman trying to be a man, and you also trying to be a man. But at least you're trying to be a man. She's a woman trying to be a man. But underneath there remains a power and an intelligence that unfortunately you don't know about. And I think this is very sad, and you're missing out on something. You do not realize what's happening to you or what's happening in the world around you. You think you do. And that's how you know that power is superior to you, because you cannot see through it. You think you can, because now you're a Manispherian guy who's broken down in 5 rules. And yeah, sure, this is the surface. This is a creature that can take any form.